Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lattes on My Mind. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Felina.
What are we going to be talking about today, Felina?
Today, we're kicking off our spooky season series for the month of October. So I'm going to be talking about the Hull House.
What is that?
We're going to find out.
All right.
So grab your lattes and join us for the journey.
Felina, guess who's sick again?
Is it one Skylar?
Skylar, as we like to call her. Not really her name, but I like to call her that. Yeah, my dog is sick again, but we're getting it figured out. Another almost UTI.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to go into details because it's kind of gross for people, but like just how I found out, But she peed in the house. That's one sign.
That's a big tell because she doesn't normally do that unless she has a UTI, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, maybe she just needed to really go. But... so she's sick again. Like we've been taking this dog to the vet. I swear,
Since
guys.
you got her.
Literally, we got her in April, and we've taken her to the vet like probably 10 times. And Keanu's been like once in a year.
Yeah.
Like for his checkups, and he's fine. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
What is she doing to me? But she's a sweetheart.
She reeled you in with her sweet little cuddly face, and now she's like, surprise, I'm expensive.
So we might have to get special food for her.
Yeah.
So it's going to be so expensive.
And by special food, she means like special. It was, we looked it up.
Pricey. Like, oh. So you guys pray that we get like sponsors for the podcast.
Yeah.
So I can make
if you want to sponsor the podcast, you can reach out to us at lattespodcast@gmail.com.
And we'll talk about your business all day.
Yeah, we'll do it anytime. We'll put an ad in. Boom. There you go. And that's called marketing.
Yeah, baby. We're good at it. Well, apparently not, because we don't have a sponsor.
No.
One day.
Yeah.
So spooky. We're doing spookies for October.
Yeah. We figured tis the season, you know? Why not do some spooky stuff? We got some stuff coming. I think we're not trying to keep it too spooky. We're not trying to scare your pants off.
Hannah can't handle that.
Yeah. But, spooky, appropriate amount of spookiness.
Because I think we're kind of getting into the season where we can kind of have seasonal topics, which hasn't happened yet. Because
it hasn't. Because
when did we start?
We started in what, March or May,
when none of the holidays are.
No, I know.
And then it's just summer. Yeah. So yeah.
So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's gonna be fun.
Is it gonna be as scared as you made me yesterday when you were?
No. Okay. So originally, my topic was gonna be about different like ghosts, which proves to be difficult because anytime you try to look up for like a ghost, it gives you like movie and TV ghosts, and it's like, no, I want the real ones.
Yeah. I don't want to be telling people about fictional ghosts.
Right.
Unless you're me.
Right. But so one of the things that I had found was on the Sally House, which if you don't know about the Sally House, we can totally do an episode on it. Just let us know.
We can. I'll just cry the whole time.
But it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a ghost.
Dun-dun.
So...
what a tease.
I know.
For next time.
For the next time. We might end up doing one. But I was telling Hannah about it because I decided to switch to just focus on this one house.
And I was getting the goosebumps.
She said, oh my goodness. Anyways.
Tell me about it.
You know what's shocking, Hannah?
What's shocking?
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
They give you a great fright.
A great fright.
A great fright.
Well, here's the real question first going into this.
Do we think ghosts are real?
Yeah. Who believes in ghosts?
Yeah. I think ghosts are real.
I really do.
I think there's definitely spirits. I don't know if it's like the typical ghost we think of, but there's definitely like,
that's what I
think. At least
think.
Energies.
There's something going on. Yeah. I'm not one of those people that is just all the time like, oh, I feel a presence here. There's energy. And
right.
I'm not like that. But like, I do think I very much lean to, I think there's ghosts. Like there's something.
Listen, if there can be angels and demons, there can be ghosts. Yeah. Okay? That's all I'm going to...
And maybe you don't believe in any of that, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully you still like to talk about ghosts.
You can not believe it and still be entertained by it. Okay?
I mean, he doesn't believe in ghosts. I'm like, come on, buddy.
Come on, buddy old pal.
I think you have to experience, which I haven't experienced anything necessarily, but I think people who are like, no. Once you experience it, like you can't explain it. There's something. So maybe we do need to take him to Waverly, although I keep refusing to. He's like, oh, I want to go to Waverly.
Do a double date to Waverly.
I don't want to go.
We'll protect you. You won't be alone at all.
But then I'm going to think I took the ghost home with me.
But ghosts don't do that. That's demons.
Well, but if you've watched Supernatural, if you take something that belonged to them.
Well, then you don't take anything
Okay.
that belongs to anybody.
The dust from them is going to get on me.
You keep in Waverly what's in Waverly.
Okay, well, what's in Waverly stays in Waverly. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I derailed that, but it is a good thing to think about. Do you believe in ghosts?
Let us
before
know.
we go into spooky season.
Yeah, you should let us know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you already know how to reach us, but if you're
Instagram
just
too.
tuning in, you can find us on Instagram or on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, or just comment on literally any, whatever platform you're listening on, like,
Yeah.
you can
We'll
do
see
that
it.
too. I don't know. Anyways, so Hull House.
Hull House, like Hull?
Hull.
Okay.
Not Hall, Hull.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was Hall, Hole, or Hill, or
Yeah, Marshall kept thinking I was saying
Hale?
Whole House.
Whole House.
I was like, no, like the whole house.
Monster. Hall.
Whole. Yes, because Hannah says monster
Yeah.
weird.
Not
Anyways,
anymore.
so basically, there's like a couple of main ghosts of it. There is this one's going to be fun to talk about. Devil Baby.
Why are you starting with that?
It's believed that Mrs. Hull specifically, but also some people think Mr. Hull also haunt the house, and potentially some of their children. And then
All of them?
Yeah, and then it's also believed that some people think that Jane Addams, which if you don't know who Jane Addams is, don't worry, we're going to get into it later. Who she was one of the previous owners of the house. They think that she also haunts the house
Before the holes?
after the holes.
Okay.
So it's in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh.
So it's in Chicago.
Chicago.
It was built in 1856 by Charles Hull.
Okay.
He was a real estate developer, and he ended up actually abandoning the house after 4 years.
Just abandoned it?
He left after 4 years after he built it. It happened after a string of tragic losses.
Tragic losses.
So
okay.
he lost his wife,
Oh.
which, as far as I could tell, Millicent Hull is her name. Millicent Hull is her name. We're going to refer to her as Mrs. Hull because for some reason reading that name
It's like Maleficent.
is hard. Yeah, I keep wanting to say Maleficent. So I'm
we'll
like,
call her Miss Maleficent.
we'll call her Miss Hull. Yeah, Miss Maleficent over here.
Anyway, it's fine.
But she died at the age of 40.
Oh, no.
So relatively young. Now it is 1856.
Yeah. But so young.
But it's
I
still,
think.
I feel like, I feel like that's still pretty young.
Yeah.
She died in her bedroom in 1860.
In her bedroom.
Yeah. There's no real like concrete, this is how Mrs. Hull died.
Oh, we don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Could have been violent. Could have been just sickness.
Yeah, she could have just been sick or something and then just died in her bed. A lot of people
Or like heart
around this
attack.
time like died in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
It's a very common thing.
Yeah.
So it's said that her spirit was haunting Hull House, which
Okay.
it's called Hull House because Charles Hull built it.
Right.
It's said that her spirit was haunting the house only a couple months after her death, which I feel like is impressive.
She said, I'm going immediately.
She said, I'm just here.
So I know I'm kind of derailing it already, but like
that's okay.
for ghosts, do they have to die a violent death to haunt something? Or why do certain ghosts, if we're going into it, if we believe in them, why do some stay?
I don't really know. I don't think they have to have a violent death. I think it's like something is there, like they have to say their goodbyes to someone or something, or
Like they let unfinished business. So he left the house.
Like he left
So
the house.
maybe she's like, where are you? And oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. I was curious. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to like that ghost lore or whatever.
Well, and I think it's whatever you believe,
Right.
I could see where it's like, oh, it has to be violent. I'm trying to think of the experiences. One of my relatives has
You were telling me.
her mom specifically has had a couple of experiences who I guess is technically my relative too.
A relative of a relative, therefore my relative.
But she had an experience in one of her houses. And that guy had drowned. He fell under ice with his son.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's kind of dramatic.
Yeah.
Another one was like her fiance died. I can't remember if he was at war or not, but if he was at war, then that's kind of probably traumatic.
Yeah, and I
feel
feel like maybe even if not violent, like obviously like no one killed them when they fell in the ice or whatever, but it was traumatic, and also like he left a family, the kid died, like so, and then if you're talking about a fiance, that's unfinished business with a wedding, so maybe it's more like I have something that is still holding me here because I never completed whatever. I don't know.
And then, well, but I will say with the fiance thing, it was like a one time, like right after he died, she saw him.
And that was it.
And then she was like, oh my gosh, what happened? But then because they were at war, they were 100% at war because they were writing letters to each other. But because it took so long to get letters to and from places, she got a letter after she had this apparition, basically. And she was like, oh, he's fine. I was being dramatic. Oh. Like, oh, he's okay. And then like a couple weeks later, his friend showed up at her door and said, hey, he gone.
And she was like, I saw him when he was already dead.
Yeah, she was like, I saw him. But then she was freaked out, but then she got a letter. So she was calm, cool, collected. She was good. And then
maybe it was just a dream. I don't know. Because she's had... it's the same relative who experienced multiple things. She also experienced it when her mother died. So, yeah. So, oh gosh.
I feel like she had a little bit of a connection.
Right. Okay, so he builds the house, he leaves, and
he builds a house. His wife, there's a string of tragedies. His wife dies. And then Charles Hull, their son, so it's like junior.
Okay.
He died from a cholera outbreak.
Oh no. And he was young?
Relatively. He was like teenager, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then Louise?
Does it have an E on the end?
No, Lois.
Probably Lois.
Okay. The daughter died in her childhood. It was unclear when exactly she died. Okay. But she was believed to be around 4 or 5 years old.
Ew. I'm sorry, like kid ghost, the thought of that is like the scariest. I know you're going to tell me there's a kid ghost. Well, you already did.
Yeah. Many guests have seen and have taken photos of apparitions of what looks to be a little girl around 4 or 5, specifically near the stairwell. A lot of the apparitions happen at the stairwell. So
wait, but is that how she died? The stairwell? Did you say that, or we don't know how she died?
We don't know how.
Okay, I was like, did she like fall?
I don't think so. We don't know how. It's very hard to find information about the holes themselves. It's the 1800s.
Yeah,
you know,
they didn't keep.
That's what records. I chalk it up to. Okay. You know, yeah. I would assume because we don't know how Mrs. Hull died, it wasn't traumatic.
They probably all got sick.
Yeah, it's again the 1800s.
Cholera.
Yeah. So basically, it was built in West Chicago.
Okay.
And West Chicago, at the time that it was built, was a pretty poppin' place. It was very like high class.
Oh, okay.
The rich folk were there, old money, high society people. But then in October of 1871, the Great Chicago Fire happened.
Oh, no.
And it killed approximately 300 people.
Right.
It left more than 100,000 people. 100,000 people homeless.
Oh, my gosh.
And then it basically turned it from like this high class wealthy area into a very low class area. And it was like the poverty and so something needed
like
to be
a quick
done.
change.
It was a quick turnaround. Yeah, everybody started leaving West London because their homes got burned down and they needed to go find a new.
Did you say West London?
I said West London.
We're back to Jack the Ripper.
I'm in Chicago. Oopsie.
It's fine.
But everybody started leaving this area of Chicago because they needed to find new homes and their homes had burned down.
Oof.
So in 1889. We're jumping up a little
Okay.
bit. 1889. It was about 12 years after the fires. Jane Addams and Ellen Gates Starr bought Hull House.
Oh.
And so basically what happened is they converted it into the first settlement home in Chicago. And some people say it's the first settlement home in the U.S. I don't know how you could confuse the two. I kept seeing in the U.S., but I think there was one before it. I don't think it was quite the
Settlement
same.
house as in like
Immigrants.
Immigrants. Okay.
It was like it was a home for
Right, like,
immigrants.
come here
and it taught them like their social
that's
aspects, language, all that stuff. Yeah.
That's cool.
She actually, both of them turned it into it pretty much took up a whole city block at one point.
Wow.
Like they turned the whole area into a settlement home, and then it went back down to just the house.
Okay.
But at one point, the house I think was even like a school house,
Oh.
which could also explain children
That's
on the stairs.
true.
It could not be that at all. But I mean, and also if you think about it, a settlement house in the 1800s. I'm sure people died there.
A lot of people coming in and out.
Yeah, you never know.
And if you're moving to a new country, you can catch diseases easily. And
especially if you're like from the boat, you know?
yeah, bring in
Depending
something
on-
over.
Yeah, 100%. So no telling what else
Right.
was there. Before we go further, I think it's important to note that Jane Addams
Okay.
was a skeptic of supernatural beings, entities, spooky things. She was very skeptical.
I love when we throw a skeptic in because it
I
makes
know.
it more real.
I know. But so she, she also owned this house. She is like, had claimed
Okay.
that the house was haunted by Mrs. Hull.
Did they know these people?
No.
From the okay, so how did she know it was her? Like they had photographs, or just like, oh, this is the previous owner?
Yeah, there was
So she
like
saw a
photographs.
woman.
Well, I
Oh.
think there was like a painting or
Oh,
something of Mrs. Hull.
Oh, you get rid of those.
Or like there's like something about it, like a murder or a death mat or something like that. I don't know. I wasn't sure about that one. That one confused
Right.
me. So
I
I,
mean,
didn't. It was weird.
I mean, it's all speculation. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's one of those things.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's also important to note that the previous residents, so there was an owner in between the Hulls and Jane Addams and
Okay.
what's her name? Eleanor
or something?
Starr, Ellen
Elaine?
Gates Starr. Yeah.
Ellen. Gosh.
Yeah. Ellen.
Eleanor, Elaine.
One of those. There was an owner in between the two.
Okay.
And they were terrified of Miss Hull.
Oh.
And they're so terrified that they left buckets of water. They were filled with water in their doorways at night because they believed that ghosts can't cross water.
What? Oh.
Yeah. So they would like leave the ghosts. Now, a lot of people say that Miss Hull is not mean. A lot of the work, it's like a museum now. So a lot of the
Right.
workers and like the previous workers were like, I felt like they were like positive, like they would hear voices and
Yeah.
they're like, I feel like they were positive voices. So I don't understand why they were so terrified of her. Maybe she was a little angrier because it was closer to her death and she was like, dang it, I'm dead and you're in my home. Where's my husband? Get out.
mean,
I don't know.
I would be terrified even if it was a nice ghost. If I was seeing a ghost,
Yeah.
I'd be peeing my pants.
She'd be pooping her pants.
Pooping my pants.
She said,
Yeah, no. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not into it. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I would be skeptical that it wasn't a diamond.
I know. That's the thing. How do we know?
You don't really
But
know.
if there were pictures, first of
Yeah.
all, the old portraits are scary.
Yeah.
And second of all, I would burn them if I moved
Yeah.
in. Although I know it's history, so that's
That's the
I would
hard
set
aspect
them
of
out
it.
somewhere.
To the shed with you.
Right. Exactly. The shed can be haunted.
Yeah. You can live in the shed, please.
Gosh.
Yeah. No. Jane Addams originally slept in Mrs. Hull's room
Girl,
where she died.
you're crazy.
Well, that was her room. That was her bedroom.
Yeah, I guess.
She didn't feel like Miss Hull meant her any harm, but she did
Okay.
eventually move out of that room because probably she felt like she was being watched in her sleep.
I'm invading.
But she was also a skeptic. And then
Okay.
there's other people who believe Mr. Hull is there, and that after he died, his spirit was connected there because that's where his family. He lost his
Right.
family and everything. So, there's that aspect of it. I didn't see a lot of reports of, the son haunting the house.
Okay. But the girl.
There is a child, but again, it was a schoolhouse and there's people in and out constantly.
Yeah, it
could have been anything.
A different kid.
Yeah. Now, we're going to get into the devil baby.
Oh no, I'm scared of the devil baby.
The devil baby is interesting.
Okay.
Supposedly,
Am I gonna scream?
No.
Okay.
Supposedly, there is a baby.
A baby.
And it was born by human parents. And
just by human parents.
There's like two different versions of the story. They're very similar. Jane Addams herself was like, we don't have a baby in our attic. Because that's where it supposedly lives.
It lives in the attic? Why would a baby be in the attic?
So they said, we don't have a baby in the attic. This is like something that took off. And one portion, like the one version of the tale is like targeted towards like Jewish women. One portion of the tale is targeted to, or version of the tale is targeted towards another religion. It's like a cautionary tale type of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Like that kind of targeting, not like, oh, these people. But basically there is a wife who is either religious or like the good cop. And she gets pregnant and the husband
but she's married. Okay.
She's married. Yes. And then there's the husband who is, the villain of the story and he's hateful. He's a hateful man. And he basically, in one version that I read, he was like, he said to the wife after she told her he was pregnant, he said, I'd rather have the devil in this house than a baby with you.
Oh my gosh.
Which is harsh. And so,
why did you marry me then?
Right. And so I think it was like he didn't want a baby. And so it was like, whatever. But anyways, he said that, and then the baby was born, and the baby was deformed, and it was born with what looked to be like horns and a tail. And so the mother, being a religious woman, was freaked out. So she took it to Whole House and left it on the porch so that they would raise the baby and the devil wouldn't be in her home.
Oh my gosh.
And then basically they locked it in the attic because it started... And one thing said it started its first words were swear words, and that was all it would say. And I was like, okay,
that's funny.
All right, but it was basically like they locked it in the attic because they couldn't take care of it. Really.
So, did anyone else who saw the baby were they like, yeah, it has horns and a tail?
Hannah, girl. It's not real.
I know, but like if you're saying you dropped it off, like there would be...
No. There wasn't a person claiming to have dropped it off. It was a story that someone came up with that took off, and people were like, there's a baby that has horns and a tail. Oh, and it's in the attic. Like a woman wasn't claiming, I dropped this child off.
Oh, okay. It was like someone else.
And despite Jane Addams' best effort, she even took to newspapers to try and discount this. She was adamant that there was not a child locked in the attic. But she just couldn't control it. People just wanted, to
have
believe
a story.
What they believe. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant that this woman was claiming this. And
no.
I was like, well, were they like, hey, woman, this baby doesn't have a tail or horns?
No.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I was like, what?
Yeah, that was that. And I mean, I don't think the devil baby is real. I really do.
I don't either.
Think. I mean, yeah.
I just thought you meant that she was claiming this, and I was like, well, people could clearly see it, so
nobody.
So what do people say that they see it as a ghost, or is it just a story? No one's actually.
So some people say that in the attic they see things or experience things in the attic, and it's believed that it's the devil baby
because of the devil baby.
And then another popular room that people have experiences in is the Mrs. Hull's bedroom.
Right.
And they also see chandeliers swinging on their own. Workers would be literally giving a tour of the house because it's a museum now.
Okay.
So they'd be giving a tour of the house, and then chairs would just start moving on their own. Yeah.
That's why I like to talk to the people that work there. Because we've gone to a few, and be like, have you had any experiences?
Right.
Or have you seen anything? And some of them are like, no. And like, they don't actually believe it. But then some people were like, yeah, this happened. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Or so I've heard a lot of people being like they're skeptical and they're like, they like to explain stuff away, you know?
Yeah.
And they're even like, I can't explain it. Like, I still don't believe in it, but that was weird.
Right.
You know, like...
like, we were somewhere, and I'm not going to say where it is, but we asked the person, and she said that she left and came back, and, like, part of the cabinet was broken. And
broken?
Yeah, like, one of the glass cabinets. And she went outside, and the glass was outside. And it was, like, after they had, like, closed.
This sounds familiar. I feel like you may have told it.
You were there. Yeah.
Was I there?
Yeah, I didn't tell it.
I remember
I just didn't want to say where we were.
Yeah. I was like, I was like, this sounds familiar. Did I watch it somewhere? Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, it was like a little piece of like, it was like a cabinet with glass doors or like had glass in the wood.
And they walked upstairs.
And she was like, it wasn't broken.
And it wasn't broken. And she walked upstairs and it was broken. And she was like, oh my gosh. And then she couldn't find, she was trying to pick up everything and she couldn't find one of the pieces of glass. She was like, whatever, it probably went under it. I'll get it in a second. And then she walked back outside.
And it was there.
And she was like,
Yeah. And then I asked someone else if they had seen anything. And they were like, no, I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
So... And he acted like a little skeptical. So I was like, oh, I think there's like both working here.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like to work at a place that's like supposedly haunted and be like, I don't think I believe it.
Yeah. All I'm going to say about that place is once you walked upstairs, downstairs it was fine.
Yeah.
But once you walked upstairs, there was just kind of a heaviness.
Especially in the library.
The library was really heavy, which, I mean, again, it could have been musty books, you know?
Yeah.
But it was just like, you
agree.
could feel it in your chest. There was like a heaviness. And it was just,
Yeah.
I don't think it was just the mold, though, because I felt like as I got closer to the library, it got worse and worse and worse. And like, I just feel like it wouldn't be that bad if I was outside of the library. It wasn't like a hindrance or anything like that, you know, like it wasn't like preventing me from doing my job, but, but it also was noticeably there.
Yeah.
But I feel like the room that we went in,
that one wasn't as bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Someone said that the library was creepier though, even though like supposedly the other room, someone had died in it. But they were like,
yeah, but so many people died in their bedrooms, you know? That's what I'm saying. So many people died in their bedrooms.
Saying. They're like, so many people died in these rooms.
It was so common. Yeah. But I feel, the library, the one lady I think was telling me about like how the library books would like just be laying out on the table.
Oh.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah. She was like, do you want to go in it? And I was like, yeah.
I did go in those rooms, which is shocking, but
Again, you had a job to do. We had to do our jobs.
Right. When I have a job to do, I can kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
If I'm actually like in there to film.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, if it's just my free time, I'm not going to choose to go to, a haunted house. I'll do like fake haunted trails and like.
Well, yeah, those are just jump scares.
Yeah, because they're just jump scares. But like real possible ghosts, I'm like.
See, here's my thing about ghosts. I do believe in ghosts, but I don't believe that they can actually do like ghosts. I don't think can do like actual physical harm to you. I think if it's doing physical harm to you, that's something else.
That's something else. What if it touches you? Like, can do you think you can have like a ghost like touch you or something? Because didn't you say that your relative like they like touched their face? They didn't like hurt them.
No, they didn't hurt them, but they scared them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If anything touched me, that
the relative thought her husband was coming into the bedroom, and then as this thing got closer, she realized it wasn't her husband. And then it sat on the bed and like stroked her face.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
it was creepy.
That's scary.
It was really creepy. Yeah, my relative told me that, and I said,
no.
Yeah, it was weird. Again, this particular relative had a couple of experiences.
That's crazy that it happens to one person so much.
I know. Well, and then her daughter was even like, I didn't want to say anything to her husband. She was like, because I didn't want them to think I was crazy and they probably wouldn't believe me anyways. But even before she found out, and her mom waited to tell her this until she was moving out of this house.
Right.
I think probably because she didn't want to freak her out.
Yeah.
But she told her they were moving, and she was like, I'm glad you're out of there. And here's why. Even the dad felt like a weird presence in there. Because he slept in the room the next night. She was like refusing to go.
I'm not going in there.
But the daughter said she didn't want to go in the room. Like it just felt dark.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just didn't ever feel comfortable in there. I tried to spend as little time as possible in there. And of course it's one that doesn't have a door. So it's like you walk past it and you feel it, like you can't escape it. You can't just shut the door and let it be.
That's one thing is like, if I'm ever looking for a house, if I feel something off about the house, I will not buy that house.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you can feel like something heavy and I'm like, no.
Oh yeah. No, I feel like I've also said, if my dog won't go into a home, I am not entering that home. Dogs? If my dog won't go into a room, I am not entering that room. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Nope. Like if they've got like a sixth sense.
They do. Not doing it.
Yeah. No. So we kind of got derailed. Sorry.
I know. I really did. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, you're good. So basically people they would see chandeliers moving on their own. They'd see, chairs moving on their own. Sorry, I forgot the word for chairs. There was also a series of fires that broke out on the second floor specifically.
Interesting.
And people were known to have spotted fires, and then the fire would go out, they'd get the fire out, and there would be like no scorch marks anywhere. Like there was no evidence of, like there was no damage to the building. It was like a phantom fire, basically.
I wonder if, because the Great Chicago Fire had already happened, right?
Well, it was built, and then the Great Chicago Fire happened, and then it turned into like the poor place.
Right.
So I wonder
if there's a connection.
I don't know.
Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. That's a good, because it's not
there's
like
no char marks.
A whole house didn't burn down.
Yeah, no.
Ever. But I wonder if someone who maybe had experienced the fire took refuge there
and then passed away,
and now they're haunting the place.
Oh,
that could be.
New theory, new ghost.
Whoop, look out. But yeah, they also are known to hear like children laughing and running.
I don't like that.
And like random voices. See, the children laughing and running makes sense to me though, because it was a schoolhouse.
But laughing.
Yes, it's creepy. Yes, we know.
The laughing.
There's always children laughing and running in every haunted house you hear. But it does make sense. This one actually does make sense to me because it was a schoolhouse. Yeah. So it's like, it's very plausible.
Yeah.
Well, they also hear the random voices, and the workers are like, the random voices, again, they sound like positive voices.
Can they hear what they're saying?
I don't know. I don't know if they can. The ghost hunters have gone in there a lot, and they actually, BuzzFeed Unsolved, Ryan and Shane went on in there. Oh. And they didn't spend the night in that one.
Okay. Did they hear the voices?
I don't know if it was BuzzFeed Unsolved or their new thing, Ghost Files, because they've left BuzzFeed.
Okay.
They had like a EMF reader or whatever.
Right.
And as Ryan was going down the steps from the second floor to the first floor, because it's 3 stories. It's basically the base floor, and then the second floor has where all the fires were. And I think the second floor is also Miss Hull's room, and then the attic.
And then the attic?
Yeah. So
the devil, baby. So
he was going down to the first floor, and as he went down, the thing went off and it said fire.
Fire?
And he was like, fire? What? He was like, as I was coming, and that's where the second floor is where the phantom fires basically happened. And he was like turning around, and then there was also one that said devil.
Nuh-uh.
After Shane was taunting the spirits of the house.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, Shane is a skeptic. And so he was taunting, quote, the spirits of the house. And he was like, oh, devil baby. And then he, you know, kind of went on. And then he got back up. And then he heard devil. And he went, what? Did you say devil? And then he just kind of was like, what? Why are you saying devil? And he goes, oh, baby, devil baby. He was like, what?
Oh.
So I don't know if something was like taunting him back or whatever.
Maybe. How do the EMF how do the EMF readers actually work?
I think I was wrong. So the EMF is like electromagnetic field.
Yeah. So
and
like
it's believed that ghosts can and spirits can manipulate the electromagnetic field and it'll like go off. But then they also have like these voice boxes or like these voice readers or whatever, and then like temperature sensors and stuff, and it basically translate these into like words.
Oh.
So they can communicate with you.
Okay.
Basically.
So it could have been him saying devil baby and it said devil.
No, because he was saying that before. So he was like, devil baby. And then he went on and kept doing his thing. And then like 5 minutes later, it said devil out of nowhere. He was like, devil, what? Blah, 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 blah.
You better be praying to Jesus.
I know.
Praying to Jesus.
I know. So yeah, it's believed that Jane Addams also haunts the house because if you think about it.
But she did good.
She did so good. But if you think about it. Mm-hmm. That was her, like, she was known for the whole house, the settlement house. You know, like, she was known for that. So that was her, like, passion, you know? So it makes sense that she would stay where her passion was.
What does she say?
What does she say?
Yeah. Does she sound nice?
I guess.
Okay. She must be one of the nice ones.
Yeah, she's one of the nice ones.
What about the other woman? She doesn't haunt? No, the Elaine or Ellen.
Yeah, no, there's nothing about Ellen Gates Starr, I think was her name. Yeah, there's nothing about her. She helped her with it, but yeah.
No ghost.
I don't know if she just...
She was happy with her work and then went on.
Yeah, she was like, I'm good, actually. I'm good. So the whole house is actually... it has a lot of photographed apparitions, like I mentioned before.
Are you going to show me?
Again, they're all on the stairs. I have 3 photos to show you.
Okay.
And they're from the stairs. And in this one, it looks like a child. There was also one that I saw somewhere, but I didn't save it. And I wish I would have. And it was like a baby's head, basically.
Oh, no.
And someone was like, I got devil baby. You know, like, but
it was just a head?
It was like just the head was appearing, at least, you know?
Okay.
But here's the staircase. I'm going to let you take a look at that. And tell me what you see.
It looks like it's crawling.
What?
Up the stairs? This thing?
It looks like it's crawling to you?
Is this supposed to be it? It looks like it's either... I could see it from behind. Like, if I hold it this far back, it looks like a little baby with a nightgown crawling. Or it looks like it's holding something and facing this way.
So to me, it looks like a child getting ready to walk up the stairs. I don't see crawling.
Well, it would have to be a nightgown. Like, I don't know why.
It's definitely wearing a nightgown. I see a nightgown.
That's what I was like. It would have to be a nightgown. So I don't know if that was just me like seeing it like crawling up. Okay, but it looks like it could just be also just...
I could see where you would think it was crawling.
If you hold it further away, it looks like a nightgown, and it looks like the baby's like almost crawling up with a nightgown like going down.
I still see a child with a nightgown.
There's definitely a nightgown,
getting ready to walk up the stairs.
Yeah, there's something like that.
It's either So, but like that's a very popular sighting.
But
there's also
looks like smoke. Like, what is this up here? Is that just smudge?
Smudge, I think.
Is it like through a window?
I think so.
Oh, then that might just be more smudge.
It could be a smudge, but it also looks different than the rest of the smudge.
It does look different. It looks like smoke almost.
Yeah, it does. It does look like smoke.
Real quick?
Yeah, go for it. It does very much look like it's different than the smudge. You know how like when you smudge, you can tell it's a smudge, but when, the apparition almost looks like what's supposed to be the apparition, at least, looks like you can see through it. You know, it's not distorted or anything like a smudge would be. It looks
more real like the further you hold it. Like further you hold it away.
Well, it's also kind of a lower quality image. It's probably taken with a phone and, you know.
Probably older too.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next one I think is interesting. Let me know what you think it could be.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's big.
It is big.
It looks like it could be like a hoop skirt of someone. Maybe she's like sitting,
Maybe.
like the bottom of her dress, and
Yeah.
like this is her waist, like almost like she has an apron on.
Yeah.
But like, it's so light.
It is. But it's like the outline
It
of
almost
her
looks
too.
like
It's not like the
Yeah, and it looks like you can see like part of her arm coming down in front of her, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a woman. This one's definitely a woman.
Okay.
Is that not real? Is that not what it is?
Well, we don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're saying okay, like
No.
they proposed something else. It looks like a woman to me. Like she has her big skirt.
Yeah, I can see that where like this is like
Yeah.
the like bust area.
Yeah.
And then here's the outline of the skirt and her arm right
Because you know
there.
how they like wore those aprons too, like over their clothes, like when they're like doing housework or like
Yeah.
just as like a teacher, like even wore
It
them.
does. I bet you it's Jane.
Yeah.
I bet you it's Jane. And then here's one that's kind of creepy to me.
Okay.
I don't know why this one sketches me out. Yeah, this one's taken through the window. Go ahead. Take a gander at that one.
I see why it sketches you out because there's. It almost.
I
looks
think
like,
it's because I can't tell which way it's facing.
Yeah, I don't, and it's hard to see what.
To me, it looks like a man or a adolescent. You know what I'm saying? Like not like a child, but like a teenager or a preteen or something.
It looks like it's facing the side,
Yeah.
but then it also looks like there's like a big face, almost like above
Right,
it.
right.
That's what freaks me out. Like I'm seeing a big smile almost.
Yeah.
Ew, I don't like that. I see a nose.
It sketches me. You see a nose?
Like, look, you see it? It has a nose and like a mouth under it.
Oh,
Like,
shut up.
There's like a closer, like I just got chills. Stop. I don't like that.
It's the devil, baby.
It's the devil baby face.
It is the devil.
But it looks like an old man or
that
something.
does look like an old man. But there's also something
also
behind
something on the
it
stairs,
That's
yeah.
on the stairs.
It
It
looks
looks like
the side or something. It's
It
like
doesn't
turned-
look like the side to me. It looks like he's walking up or down the stairs, and it's like shoulders are like hunched, like it's like sad. Do you
It's
see?
sad?
Like here's the head and here's the shoulders.
Oh yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was like looking as that part. Oh, but that face up there, I don't like
But that face up there is really creepy.
I was like, I see a
did
face
not
up there.
see that
I see a
at
face
all.
up there.
And it's like a defined face too. It's not even like, oh, that could potentially be a face. It's like you can actually see a nostril.
That's what
I feel
I'm saying. You can see, unless that's the shadow of the person in the window that's taking it.
Yeah, but it doesn't look
like it.
a shadow of
It doesn't, because it looks like they're going like
it
it looks like they're going like this, like turned, and like you wouldn't do that.
like turned.
Yeah, it looks like they're turned, like they're like, because you know how it's like nostrils like this way, like you wouldn't be just like doing that and taking a picture.
Yeah, I see someone looking like, oh my gosh, like mean mugging almost.
I don't like it.
Not really. That's creepy. I didn't even see that.
That's what I saw. I was like, there's a face up there.
Holy cow. Anyways,
That's the Joker.
is it?
I don't know. There's like a creepy smile. That's what I see.
I don't see a smile. I don't see a mouth as much.
Really. I see the nose and the nostril.
I
and the
see what you're
mouth.
saying about the sideways one.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting what people see?
Yeah, like how we see it
How
differently.
we interpret things?
You're like, what do you see? I'm like, am I supposed to see it a certain way, or is it like how I see it?
No, I was just curious how you saw it as well. Yeah, this one,
It's definitely a child
there is
and a
definitely
woman.
a child.
And then I'm not so sure about the last one, but I think it's a man.
Yeah, I think it's a man walking upstairs in the background. Now,
The
the face is
I
creepy.
yeah. I don't
face
like
is
that.
really creepy. I wonder if it's Mrs. Hole.
Maybe.
She said, "What are you doing at my house?"
I'm looking at you. What are you doing in my house?
Yeah.
I mean, originally it was theirs.
Get out of my swamp.
I wonder what happened to Mr. Hull. Like, did he ever did he hear these stories, or did he pass
know.
away before it became like a? But you said he built it in like the 1850s, right? So
Yeah,
it had
he
to
built
be
it
like.
in the 1850s.
I wonder.
So by the time Devil Baby came around, he was dead, I believe.
Okay. By the time Devil Baby came around,
I believe he was gone.
'cause when was the Chicago fire?
70s, 1870s,
Oh, okay.
1871,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's 1871, and then 1889. Jane Addams and Ellen Starr bought the.
Okay. And like, if his wife was 40, he was probably already in his 40s.
At least in his
somewhere,
40s,
and,
yeah.
like, he probably, so that's like 20 years.
So then
My
he would
math
be
is
in
bad,
his,
but-
he would have been in his 60s
Like
by the time they
60s.
bought it.
So he probably would have,
He was probably
At the
gone
time, he passed
in the
away.
1800s.
Yeah.
What was the average lifespan of the 1800s?
I guess it's just, it depends probably where you live. But
That's
they're in
true.
Chicago, so it's probably not.
Not great. It was no bueno, no
Well,
good.
because like the pollution in the cities and the
Yeah.
working conditions. Although he did live in a nicer at the time.
Well, he
but
did. We don't know where he moved to
That's
necessarily.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
I would assume, yeah. I think it was like 60s, 70s. It would be like, I don't think it's like 80s like it is now.
Yeah.
Or for a man, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think, I think the lifespan was still pretty short,
Yeah.
which is sad. But I mean, think about how much medicine has advanced though.
Right.
So, they didn't have everything. I mean, the cholera outbreak killed one of his
Yeah.
children. So, I mean,
What is cholera again? Isn't it? Is it just like? Is it like a common thing that we get now, or was it its own thing actually?
I think it was,
Is it just like a cold?
I think it was like a really bad cold.
Like a really bad cold. That's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
believe.
and I guess like immunity or whatever builds up over time as well. But like once you're exposed to
Once you get
cholera
exposed.
or whatever,
So it's a bacterial disease and it causes diarrhea, dehydration, and it's
okay.
spread through water.
oh.
It is fatal if not treated right away.
Oh, dang. It's still around?
Yeah, apparently. I feel like there's not a lot of cases of it because I
No.
feel like
Now I'm scared I'm going to get cholera.
Listen, we bleach our water. Oh no,
Yeah, that's
my
true.
little tablet case broke.
Oh,
That's okay.
we'll fix it.
I'm not gonna fix
Oh,
it.
okay, we're not gonna
It's
fix
just
it.
where the charger goes. It's fine.
Okay. So
But yeah, we bleach. Anyways, we bleach our water now.
Yeah,
so
this
I
is
feel like
true.
we have. There's not as much
yeah.
chance of
We have clean
bacteria
water
growing.
usually.
Yeah, we have a
Usually.
filtration system. Even if you don't like,
Even if you drink from the tap.
even if you drink from the tap, we already have a filtration
Yeah.
system. If you drink
Well,
not
the
from the tap, then you're
city
purifying your water
yeah.
even more. Refrigerators have purifiers in them as well. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's less of a chance.
We purify like several times.
We like triple purify
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so start out our spooky season with some ghosts.
Spooky.
I'm sure ghosts will be back, but in like a different format.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Some
if you-
hauntings is what we did today.
this is your jam, then let us know. We maybe can do
Maybe
more.
can do more. Even if it's not October, we can still
yeah, even though it scares
throw
me.
a couple in there.
I'm weak. I'm weak when it comes to. I can't watch. Sometimes every time I start Supernatural, I get scared because the beginning is more like ghost,
It is more ghosty
and
in
then
the beginning.
yeah, and then every time after a little while, I'm like, okay, I'm fine.
Yeah.
now. But like every time I'm like, oh, it's spooky. There's something there.
It's
There's something
spooky.
there.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. We got some fun stuff coming your way.
Yep.
So you just hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have any more ideas, of course, as always, send them to lattespodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can reach us on Facebook and Instagram at Lattes on My Mind. Don't forget to tune in wherever you're listening. We are
Right.
now available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, and YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can really get us anywhere. And if you have a friend, maybe you're listening on Spotify and your friend has Apple Music,
There you
they
go.
can listen too. So
So when you go out and you see these ghosts, first of all, take pictures so we can judge.
Take pictures, yeah.
What's happening in the
photographic
picture.
evidence. And then secondly, you need to write in and tell us about your experience.
Yeah. Please.
So we can read it and maybe even potentially share it if
be
you
spooked.
want us to.
Yes.
Yeah.
But hope you're having a great October. Hopefully it starts to feel like October more.
Yeah, we're, as everybody knows,
I know.
if you're new here, we're in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really start to feel like fall until mid-October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's
sad.
sad. When October hits, I already start wearing orange, just hoping that
I know.
it will.
I have a pumpkin sweater that I wore in September because I was like, it's
Right.
fall, right?
It needs to be fall.
I was sweating.
Yeah. But don't get too haunted.
Yeah,
'cause
don't
I'm
get too
freaked
haunted.
out.
Don't take anything home with you. If you're ever in a haunted house, if you
Don't
think-
mock them.
Yeah, don't mock them because you don't know if it's a ghost or not.
Yeah.
But don't agitate them.
Yeah.
Let them know you're there with good intentions. You're there for good vibes.
Let them be.
And you're expecting good vibes back.
Yeah.
And then, don't take anything home with you because then they will follow you.
I'm not going to do it. Never.
Just don't even touch anything. Just
Don't.
Just look. only.
Don't touch.
Yeah. But then, make sure you tell us about it because I want to hear all about the spooky stuff.
Me too. Even though I get scared. Even though I might have to sleep with the nightlight. No, Wes won't let me.
Yeah. I want to, but my husband says no.
I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something in the corner. Like, I see like a jacket.
It's just your laundry.
And my dog walks by. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Listen, dogs are creepy.
Oh, in the dark?
Yes. Yeah. They're creepy. I understand that one.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Stay safe.
You guys stay safe. Stay spooky.
Yeah. Bring your salt with you.
We'll see you next week.